Okay, I had a viewer asking to make a video about how I got started and saying I was very ambitious after making a video of just a tour of my yard outside. So how I got started was probably when I was born, and just the family that I grew up in, having a car in the garage and being able to look at it and see it, and reading books. This one book I had, it was called Mighty Machines, and it was in the shape of a bulldozer and all different big types of machines in it, and then just watching car shows, and so having an interest in vehicles and moving machines since I was younger. And then in high school, took a woodworking course, and having a education or going to college for something in tech was like something that you wouldn't make money in. That's what it was thought. And the way my grades were, I wasn't going to college or university, so went to summer school for math in my last year to try and get good grades to try and go to university, but to become a dentist or an architect, because my father's a dentist, my mother is an architect, so that didn't happen. And then got out of high school, and after that I worked for a company in a factory, a warehouse, moving like packaging and sorting natural products, natural food and soaps and stuff like that, all natural. Worked there for like less than a month, and maybe a month or two, made a bit of money, and realized not wanting to work for people. And I had already been working on my own. Like my brother and I, we would wash cars and do handyman work and stuff like that for cash ever since we were little, for other people, for neighbors. And I had to do work around my house for my father and cut grass and stuff like that, and he paid me a bit of money for if I was doing lots of work around the house. So realized you can make money doing stuff with your body. And in high school I would scrap metal too, and just like fixing up vehicles and cars, and being able to go home right away and do like yard work or something and not homework, and working out a lot. So yeah, high school was done, then worked at this place, and then there's an excavating landscape company next door, and I already knew how to use power tools and anything to build stuff, so I went and took my resume and got a job at this landscape company. Worked there for, I don't know, less than a month, I can't remember, one summer. Very short periods of time as I was working for other people. So bought a bunch of power tools, my own power tools, because the place didn't even have like power tools to build decks and stuff, so I was doing a lot of woodworking for them, and really underpaid work for the amount of skill that I had and stuff that I was providing. So I saw how unorganized the company was too, and how it all ran, and customers and employees, and learning how to run machines. I'd drive like a lawnmower at our house, bigger size lawnmower, kind of small tractor, ever since I was younger. So you get skills, you develop these skills of doing things a very in a very good way, doing things properly, just like setting a table, cleaning your room, brushing your hair. So that's sort of how we were raised, and that's sort of when that stuff rubs onto you, that's sort of how you start doing everything. Then usually good things come from being able to do stuff like that. But having a creative side too. So after that company, I worked for this other guy for less than a week that I had known since I was younger at a landscape company in our town. And then I just quit there right away. So the whole time, most I ever made was like $14.50 an hour. Highest pay I had. And like when I was younger with my brother, we'd be washing cars for like, I don't know, $9 an hour. And then I just started on my own. Well, I wanted to be professional on my own, like actually starting a real company and business logo and stuff. So I started drawing up the logo and then was talking to my parents about it, and they wanted nothing to hear about it. Says, you gotta get a job, you gotta make money and this and that. And so you're climbing up a rock wall when you're first wanting to do stuff like that, and then it started just becoming like word of mouth. Having a sign up, I did this type of work, and then having people hire you for very small amounts of money, but for you it's a lot of money, like a job that's like $600, and then taking you a bunch of work, but you're still gonna make more than you would if you're working by the hour for like $14 an hour. So kind of started doing that, and then doing building decks. So what I kind of got into, and then I had employees working for me, and then that was not really working out well, because the way I was pricing these jobs, I was making like zero money and barely having to pay all my money to other people and overseeing them and teaching them how to do stuff. And then I ended up kind of pretty much just working on my own. I was able, once I got a skid steer and an excavator of my own, because I rented one for this one interlocking job that I first started doing, like a big landscape construction job by myself. But all those things were good experience and kind of made the foundation of where I'm at today. So realizing that renting equipment, you're still gonna make no money. And then I went door to door with a flyer to like over 100 houses in my neighborhood in one day, knocking on every single one, introducing myself and my service, and didn't get one job from that. Didn't get one job from one person's door I knocked on, but I had some people call me up and say, we heard you do really good work, because I've had my signs up around the neighborhood doing work with the crew and everything, and just really nice porch and a front yard, well-made sign with fancy cedar wood around the border and metal framing that I made myself. So I also had a sticker on my truck at first, like a magnet, and then got a proper logo on it. But these people called me up and said that they heard I do really good work, and then that job ended up being like a $30,000 job that they had the money for, and I had a landscape architect go and make a plan, and you know, it was all laid out so they could see what was going to be done. So I had kind of guidance from this more established company that's been around for like 30 years, and used that as my blueprint for this job. And then I got a deposit for 50%, and that weekend I was looking on the internet for an excavator, mini excavator, and a skid steer. So then I was told my parents and called them up and said, there's these two machines. I think I got to get them for this job, and I got the money and needed a little bit more money, but I was going to make more money once I got them after I finished the job. So they said, yeah, and I went and got them, and they helped me out a bit on that, and was able to get these pieces of equipment. And I always had paid them back, and either through my own labor or money or buying them something. And so the first piece of equipment I had before that though was a enclosed trailer. So I got an enclosed trailer first, and I think it was an enclosed trailer or a dump trailer first. I think it was a dump trailer, but yeah. My mother is not happy about that, so each piece of equipment was the same, like, what are you gonna do with this, or this giant thing, having it parked in my driveway, our driveway, and fixing it up in our driveway. I'd do all this work to fix it up. So I had already had that dump trailer, then I got an enclosed trailer. I had to have it to put all my tools in it, and then had no yard or anything, so I had to use like a house that my father owned and park it in the driveway, which is like residential property, so it's not allowed. But I was able to get away with it for quite a few years. And then so these two pieces of equipment, I painted them the same weekend, spray painted them with my brother in his backyard, and just to make them look really nice, because I'm like, I'm not going to drive these pieces of equipment looking like junk onto this job site. So we did that, got them looking nice, went and did the job. It's a lot of work, especially using a dump trailer and a pickup truck, gas pickup truck. And then just invested in a website after that, and started getting more work every now and then, as much work as I needed to stay afloat. And then started getting more equipment. Then that was like 2014, so I had been incorporated, did all the legal things I needed to do for a company, insurance and stuff like that. And then, yeah, it's 2024 now, so the last 3 years has probably been the most growth, getting more machines, larger trucks, and then just a series of events of losing money or not making money, but learning from those mistakes, always having a contract and learning about how to write your contract. When I first started, I went out and asked all the other contractors in my area and home builders in Ontario their advice and experience they would give themselves at their age. So some of these people would invite me out for lunch, and they would pay for it. And so I'd get lots of advice from those people, but when it came down to it, you just have to kind of get to work and keep doing your own thing too. And pieces kind of come together the way it's gonna go. So yeah, always the words of advice would be is always persevering and learning, and you'll be kind of pulled towards the people that you need to be with, and to help you do what you have to do. Never went out partying or went to college or university, never experienced that. No going out to bars and anything like that every weekend. I guess I partied enough in high school that didn't really need to either, but always had no interest in anybody from high school after I was done and out of there, just working on myself and always investing money back into the business. And I haven't paid myself since 2014, but I have paid myself by always getting things that I want, like the stuff behind me: motorcycle, dirt bike, boat, brand new engine, jet ski, trucks. But having stuff like that, you have to reward yourself as well. And yeah, the other thing I was able to do is always increase my mechanical skills. Like, this truck was the first vehicle I learned like how to do welding and mechanical work. Took the whole suspension apart. Let me just call the dog. And so that was definitely needed. So I was able to buy older equipment and fix it up and maintain it myself. Is just reducing costs where you can, and being able to do different types of work. First I started doing renovations and landscaping, but I just didn't like working in people's house, and doing renovations is such labor intensive work and way more hands-on. And then I just like the machines much better. So that's where I started doing, learning how to fix all the stuff and just taking stuff apart, having those type of skills. So you pretty much learn, you sound like a know-it-all, but you learn how to do pretty much everything and anything you need to, whether it comes to making a website, designing stuff, doing paperwork, or rebuilding an engine, or doing metal work, doing woodwork, earthwork, clothing, like branding your clothing and stuff, or learning how to sew. Like, I sewed the interior of this truck, made like reupholstered the seats. So kind of being the master of learning all these things, regardless if you hire other people or not, then you kind of have street smarts about almost everything. Learn about money and business, as well as medical stuff, like learning how to take care of yourself, like health, working out, what type of music you like, or making videos, stuff like that. So electronic stuff, relationships with people, relationships with yourself, and yeah. And then it's continuing that and not being, I guess, content with where you're at, and being open to switch things up or keep doing more. And then having hobbies too, when if you don't have work, or starting other businesses, other interests. Like this boat, I got this boat, and stuff like that can just create opportunities for other businesses. And not going to go into detail how or why, but yeah. Then you got to live your life too, enjoy, and help your family. Always going back to family and helping them when you can, or doing whatever. So when it all comes down to it too, you just gotta be making money. There's nothing worse than not having money and not making money. So you gotta kind of learn how to keep up with all these pieces when they're being put into place. And I guess your past experiences are making you into the type of person to be able to do all this stuff, whatever you've gone through personally, and life and death stuff. So, hey, you hurt your foot? Yeah. And so the alternative, if I was still working in a warehouse with nutritional products for minimum wage, listening to these people I didn't want to hear, listening to the same radio station every day, that is, to me, that would be death. You might as well be dead. So if there was a way out and is a way out, then doing the alternative is definitely worth it. Even if you go broke or go hungry or don't have money to buy food or something like that, or fights with your family, disagreements with your family members, and they don't agree with what you're doing, but you know they will at some point, it's definitely worth it. So once you equip yourself with all that, I just built this kind of, for me, it's my place, dream shop right here on a off-grid kind of dream property right here, really close to home, in town. So if I didn't go through all those things that I went through, and you just keep continuing to go on, then yeah, I wouldn't be here. So as long as I keep doing the same thing, then who knows where I'll be the same amount of years from when I started. So you look at it that way instead of being stuck in your own impressions or your own thoughts of what's actually not actually going on. You just gotta kind of stay in your own lane, like Mimi here, up doing her own thing and doesn't really care what other people think, but she's very obedient and respectful at the same time. Doesn't really hurt anybody unless she bites a bit too hard, but she's learning. So with that, I can do a little tour of, I guess, the equipment I have. So this was the first enclosed trailer that I purchased. It's full of tools, everything you need to do, pretty much anything. Solid vehicles in here, the boat, jet ski, and it's a dump truck, pickup truck, Duramax diesel. I'm rebuilt the engine on it. Done 3 already. This one, that one, and I got one in there. 12 valve Cummins flatbed snowplow truck, 4x4. It's a Ford 7.3 liter diesel, turbo diesel light tower with a generator. Transfer fuel tank. It was the first mini excavator I bought that I painted. It's been painted multiple times since then, but that was from that story, from that first job. And like, you start making that money from being paid $19 an hour, it's like, holy jeez, it's a huge difference. But then once you start having equipment and stuff like that, and realizing all the resources that you need to be able to continuously do projects for people, providing a reliable accompanying service and being there on time and when you say you're going to be there, that was all part of it too, is doing exactly what you say you're going to do on your contract. And you know, some jobs didn't work out with people, they acted out just inappropriately, but you got to have control of all your stuff and making sure it's in a contract, exactly what you're going to do, what materials, and then that usually is a recipe for a happy customer. So been able to make a system that is allows me to duplicate all that for different types of jobs. But yeah, you realize you gotta charge way more and more and more. Like being around people who do $1 million projects that have like 50% profit on that, or $300,000 jobs, or $500,000 jobs, $200,000 jobs. You kind of have to open yourself up into a whole new world that you didn't imagine was really possible. So got the dump truck there. It's the first big dump truck I got. It's all needed though. Like, I've got all this equipment because each job I knew I needed bigger stuff and more stuff for doing them efficiently. But each time you do that, then it's costing you money, so you're not having like money in the bank, but you have these pieces of equipment to do more jobs and have already paid for themselves multiple times. This is the first dump truck I got. It was on the side of the road for like, I don't know, $2,700, and I got it for probably $1,700, really low kilometers. Oh, my mother freaked out when I got this, that's for sure. But she freaked out over me getting a lot of this stuff. But then eventually I got letters from the city that somebody reported like 3 different locations that I was storing stuff and all of my parents' properties, but they're all residential. But somehow at the same time, it was like somebody was out for me and got the all 3 properties at once reported. But that was perfect because then I was able to find a property yard, and somebody offered me a place and ended up going there. But that's how it led me here in this place, because if I kept staying at my parents' place with all these machines stuff, I'd look like a complete nutcase. With all this stuff at your own house, it's way better to have it separated in a proper establishment. So yeah, that was the first dump truck. Being a master negotiator of buying stuff is definitely needed. Like, the things I got for the amount of money I got, and the people who I bought stuff from or sold things to, you gotta be having that under your belt. That's how you can be able to get stuff like this, regardless if it was back in the day or like today, when there's not too much stuff for sale. Like 6 or 8 years ago, there'd be a lot more used equipment, but now more and more people are trying to do their own stuff with equipment and start companies or something, or buy the equipment and resell it. But there's always stuff out there, and when you want something, you usually show up. So yeah, being a negotiator, whether it's selling a job or buying a piece of machinery or anything, getting it for the price that you want. That's why I got a nickname of my accounts that I use to purchase stuff. They don't call me Billy Bob for nothing, that's for sure. Billy Bob can get you pretty much anything you want for the price that you want, under the price you want. I won't go into detail about all this equipment, but just do a little walk around. Stone slinger truck, so this is me still working all by myself, but I have these machines to be able to do all the labor for me. Most of the times I'm just moving my hand, unless I'm installing like interlocking stone. But if you have the muscles to do things, then and stay fit, and that's fine. Just muscle through it sometimes, because you gotta be like an athlete with all this lifting and equipment and fixing stuff. Gotta stay healthy. Just got the triaxle dump truck. You can load that thing up to the rim, and it takes way less time off jobs. Having a float trailer to move your equipment. Having a machine like this, skid steer like this, having a little track machine like this one here to move stuff around instead of using a wheelbarrow. Hey, no eating plastic, me. Hey, No. What are you doing? No, 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 no. Let go, let go. You're going crazy, boy. Yeah, settle down. This is pretty much everything, I think. All the equipment, except for a dump trailer. That's somewhere else right now. But hopefully this answers the person who requested this video about how I started, and I guess after hearing all that, if that sounds ambitious or not, that might give you an answer about all this. So just turned 29 this year, and if I started in 2014, it's 2024 right now. It would have been 19. So time flies, but it doesn't fly when you're going through, I guess, all the stuff that I described in this video, this past 20 minutes of me talking. And yeah, if you asked me back then if I thought I'd have any of this stuff, no way. Well, I had the mentality of what I still do right now of, you know, you're gonna have you think you train yourself to think you're gonna have anything and everything to a point that it's like sounds like, yeah, right, or impossible, but you just keep on going, and eventually it just happens. But until you get there, then it still hasn't happened yet. So that's why when I asked myself if I thought I'd be where I am today, never went into full detail like this of having all this stuff. So that's why I said absolutely not. But the way my thinking was, I would have way more than this. But it's whether or not you think it's gonna come true. But when you're working day to day, it doesn't matter. You kind of just gotta work hard, and I work way less than I did when I first started. So when I'm saying work hard, it's not like breaking your back. It's getting up and doing what you want to and gotta do. That's all. But yeah, I definitely work way less harder for all this stuff, because everything I've done so far has taught me a lot and teaches you things. So that's a little MDS journey, the Michael Scott journey of this.